Okay, so bear with me. We're gonna try to get through the demands of the Yellow Vests, the protesters who are currently occupying the streets of France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and grassroots protests in many other parts of the European Union. Okay, so this is a manifesto that has been mailed to the press, French media, and there is widespread agreements to this manifesto, which I cannot say speak for all the Yellow Jackets, but a majority of them, yes. First one, pretty absurd. Zero homelessness, urgent, which was um the government cannot solve homelessness, as it has been extremely apparent in America, as the war on poverty has resulted in zero difference in the poverty level. So, by putting this as your first demand in the manifesto, of course, the government will disregard all seriousness and continue to read with a grain of salt. More progression in income tax, that is more differentiation. Um, Simply saying there should be a tax hike, which is the narrative opposing the media saying it's again anti-government, against taxes, libertarian protests, which is not the case in their manifesto. And the minimum wage of 1,300 euros net. So I am assuming that this is a monthly, and this is a pretty high demand, but nonetheless, it is just a moderate increase from their current minimum wage. And the promotion of small shops in the villages and city centers, cessation of the construction of large shopping centers around the big cities, which stall the retail trade, and more free parking in the city centers, isolation of apartments on a large scale to advance ecology with savings with the household, tax the big McDonald's, Google, Amazon, Carrefour, never heard that, but should pay big and small ones. Should pay big, the big ones, and the small ones, artisan, small, medium, and should pay small. So just saying that by having a lot of money, you owe a lot of money. A uniform system of social security for all craftsmen and small self-employed, included abolition of self-employment, social insurance, RSI. So just saying that more across the board coverage of social security. The pension system must remain a solidarity and therefore be socialized. No pension on points. So this is socialization of Europe in its roots. Thought it could get more social. Stop the increase in fuel tax. So this is the only point that they want to reduce taxes. In every other case, they are increasing it. No pension under 1,200 euros. So the minimum wage of 1,300 is same and almost similar to the contrast of minimum pension of 1,200 euros, which a pension is for everyone who's not currently in the economy, who is outside the economy and retired, who has given their all for an amount of years to receive a pension, which has been taxed off their paycheck for their whole entire life. So the fact that the pension cannot be promised, and it was promised on a false premise, shows you the irresponsibility and unregulation of the government. Every elected member of parliament has a right to receive the median wage. His travel expenses are monitored and, if justified, reimbursed. Right to restaurant and holiday vouchers, pretty much just bureaucrats' special privilege. The wages of all French people and pension benefits are indexed according to inflation. So it's pretty much saying that no matter how bad the economy gets, the wages should not falter. So even though because of the wages and the new taxes, the inflation rate's increasing, that we should keep increasing them so inflation gets out of control and it becomes post World War One Germany, Great Depression. That's just an over exaggeration on my end. I apologize. Protection of French industry, ban on relocations. Protecting our industry means protecting our know how and our jobs. So they're prohibiting all entrepreneurs to the freedom to relocate and be productive elsewhere, even if they can be more productive in the grand scheme of things. Stop posting of workers. There is no someone working in French territory, just basic rights across the French territories. Safeguard employment, limiting fixed term employment contracts, simply forcing companies to hire people and making permanent contracts. So even if they aren't useful anymore, they are prohibited to fire them. Abolition of the tax credit programs, competition, employment, use of the money to promote for French. Just socialization of transportation again, um, to reach rural parts of France, and the austerity policy, termination of interest payments on illegitimate, just attempting to pay back the debt by taxing the tax evaded 80 billion theoretical dollars. Abolish the causes of forced migration. So the simply France wanting more people. Correct treatment of asylum seekers. We owe them housing. You do not, but yeah, sure. Security, nutrition, and education for the minors. Collaboration with the UN. Set up reception centers. Just virtue signaling here, saying we're not racist. We don't. We're not saying we don't want them. We're just saying that yeah, it's this. Ah. Anyways, repatriation. This whole manifesto is very socialistic. Asylum seekers in their country of origin, just sending them back, and repay repatriation. Implementation of financial integration policy. Just basically, this just means that protecting the culture of France. Uh, they have a maximum wage of 15,000. So if you're capped out on that, no need to be more productive. You can just retire right there because that's the maximum you're going to get. Anything else just goes straight to the government. Job creation for the unemployed. Again, that's just like the homeless wish. Increase in benefits for persons with disabilities. Limitation of rents. Basically, no matter if your housing, your investment is going into the red, you cannot increase your rent because government or their wants and wishes. Ban on sale of land. So whatever is already owned by the French government cannot be sold. So it's a permanent socialistic land, public land, consistent provisions of funds for justice, police, gendarmerie, and army, payment of recreation, of overtime, of law enforcement. So this is probably their sympathy towards the police. Use of all tolls for the maintenance of the highway and the country roads of France for road safety. More socialism. As gas and electricity prices have risen since privatization, we want both back in the public purse, prices lowered accordingly. Actually, the gas and electric prices have risen since privatization in large reasons due to the taxes. The actual untaxed prices have decreased, and since the government hides their overhead, this is false because the price has actually decreased, but because of taxes, it has been increasing due to government tampering, and they have straight bracket socialization. Okay. Immediate stop to stop small railways, eliminate post offices, and close schools and maternity wards. Hmm. Just small frivolous things. School education is right there. Necessary funds for psychiatry, referendum for constitutional eligibility, where people can propose legislation. Discussed. Okay, more. Socialism. Mm, election of MEPs. Retirement at 60 years, right to a pension at the age of 55 for all persons who work hard physically, for example, bricklayers, slaughterhouse workers. So basically, it's just pension. Extension of the system of child care allowance, hegemony beyond the age of 6 up to the child's 10th birthday. More incentive on giving birth. Great. Promotion of rail freight transport, not withholding tax deductions. End the lifelong pensions for past presidents. Prohibition of charging merchants for payment by credit card and their customers. Taxation of marine diesel and kerosene. So they are asking for taxation on fuel, just not the public fuel, but the private fuel. All right, everything is very socialistic, and the protests have. This website is this one. It has it posted. Whatever. It's not the protest, the revolution that many of us in the States and other parts of the world have looked forward to as people get sick and tired of government intervention. This protest is entirely to protest a faulty law, tax, and introduce many more un, untested laws and incentive programs and regulations, which will only end badly for the French population. Yeah. Mm, so look for hope elsewhere, libertarians. This is a yellow compass, and I'm signing off.